The WNBA recently lost its golden ticket, and you won't believe it. This superstar Caitlin Clark, who is tasked with rescuing women's basketball, is packing her bags and leaving for Europe.
There could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy...
Can you imagine the impact this has on the skyrocketing cost of league tickets? Everyone is now questioning whether the WNBA can even continue without her as viewership is falling.
Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. However, that was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
AJ Wilson, the league MVP, is sitting there watching her own value plummet more quickly than a brick three-pointer. But this is where things get really weird.
For this franchise, it is hard as shit. It is hard as shit because there's tons of people that want to break you down.
You have to see how this is appending the entire women's basketball world. She must be thinking, I have championships, I have the trophies, but now nobody cares. It seems like Clark swept in, snatched all the spotlight, and left the WNBA reeling.
A'ja Wilson has had the most difficult season of her career. She couldn't get the credit she deserved because Caitlin Clark showed up, and this is proof that her life is 10 times as hard as, to get the same credit. She's MVP of the league, I think, for the 3rd time. She's won 2 championships. She's got a statue at the University of South Carolina. Have we not done enough to celebrate A'ja Wilson? Have you contributed to her life being 10 times as hard?
When Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, it was more than just a big event. It was a seismic shift that rocked the league overnight. This rookie sensation turned women's basketball from a niche sport to one that everyone had to watch on TV. We're talking about sold-out arenas, TV ratings that made network executives pause, and players who were upset. A'ja Wilson.
A'ja Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA, the greatest player in women's basketball that nobody cares about.
However, the WNBA put all of their eggs in one basket in an attempt to capitalize on Clark's star power, marketing her as the league's face, the savior of women's basketball, and the key to mainstream success. For a while, it worked like magic. However, there was a steep price tag associated with all that excitement.
All I know, when they got eliminated from the playoffs, the attendance dropped, the ratings dropped. Now I wouldn't need to know because it's the old guard and it's this and it's that. So what's the reason now?
We're talking about a women's basketball jersey that outsold the Dallas Cowboys, and you should have witnessed the flurry when Clark's jersey hit the market. It wasn't just outselling other WNBA merchandise, it was also competing with NFL superstars. Is it even possible for you to comprehend?
Caitlin Clark continues to set the bar when it comes to her impact on female athletics. She's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all, according to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey is apparently sold out in all sizes. It was rumored that she actually outsold Dallas Cowboy jerseys.
The NBA's reliance on Clark revealed a significant flaw in their strategy when she left the playoffs earlier than anticipated. It seemed as though someone abruptly shut down the entire thing, and all of the fair-weather fans who had joined the Clark bandwagon vanished more quickly than a defensive player attempting to block her three-point shot.
Now give me the reasons why. She's gone. Is the old guard still watching? Why aren't these fans? If the WNBA is more, it is, and I get it. Why aren't people watching?
You say the ratings have dropped since Fever had been eliminated?
Yes. Look at the attendance when the Fever play your favorite team, and look at the attendance when they don't.
If you're wondering how much money the WNBA is actually losing without Caitlin Clark, I can assure you that it's not beautiful. We're discussing a possible financial meltdown down here. The league is in severe financial trouble without Clark's star power to drive ticket sales, TV ratings, and retail revenue.
As the team progresses through the playoffs, tickets get more and more expensive, which is why I was incredibly confused to see tickets at the Target Center in Minnesota selling for as low as $10. According to StubHub, seats that are damn near courtside, they're going for $65. You can sit directly behind the female Suns bench for $60.
Consider this. You have a problem when one individual has the power to create or ruin your entire financial model. The WNBA is currently rushing to figure out how to keep the lights on without their golden goose on because they placed so much faith in Clark's ability to attract audiences and increase ratings that they neglected to provide a long-term framework for the rest of the league.
StubHub this morning, I noticed that the upper bowls of the Target Center were unavailable. I wonder why. They're not offering tickets in those sections because they can't sell the damn seats in the lower bowl.
However, this is where things start to get interesting. Clark's influence extended beyond financial gain. She gave women's basketball a level of excitement and attention that the WNBA had been longing for. She caused those who had never watched a women's game to sit up and take notice, and now that she is traveling to Europe, the league is facing a turning point.
It seems like she's probably going to make more money overseas in EuroLeague than she did during this WNBA season.
The WNBA is at a crossroads, and their next move could make or break the future of women's professional basketball in America. They need to figure out how to keep fans interested, how to market their other stars, and how to develop a sustainable business model that doesn't rely on a single player to keep the ship of flow afloat. Can the WNBA survive without Caitlin Clark? That is the big question that everyone is asking right now.
If you look before Caitlin, the attendance was around 5,000. Since Caitlin, she sold out every game this year, so that's an increase of about 10,000 tickets per game. The average ticket price has gone up, say roughly $100. So that right there is looking at $1 million per game. And so if you take that times 14 home games, that's $14 million. And that's not even considering anything else.
Imagine being at the peak of your game and watching a rookie steal not just the limelight, but your entire legacy. The NBA's dilemma isn't just about losing Caitlin Clark. It's revealing flaws that run deep throughout the league. AJ Wilson is experiencing precisely that, and her response is rocking the women's basketball scene.
A'ja Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA, was caught on tape reaching to, wagging her finger at, telling to Caitlin Clark, teammate, about her, white privilege.
Imagine this. You're AJ Wilson, a three-time MVP, WNBA champion, and the league's face for years. You've worked hard, accumulated AOAs, and developed a career that most players can only imagine, but all of that seems to be lost now because of one rookie, Caitlin Clark.
Well, I mean, look, I want to be a little sympathetic towards Miss Wilson. After all, for the first time in a long time, people were actually watching her play basketball, so that added stress of the much bigger audience certainly came into.
Wilson is not only witnessing Clark steal the show, but she is also seeing her steal the paychecks. Can you believe how much money separates these two? Wilson's maximum WNBA salary is around $230,000. With her new deal in Europe, Clark could possibly earn millions of dollars, even more than Diana Taurasi did when she played in Russia. That's enough to make anyone reevaluate their professional decisions.
Now, it's not out of the norm for WNBA players to play during the regular season and then during their off-season play overseas. This is something that has been happening for the entirety of the WNBA. It even went as far as to 1 year in 2015, Diana Taurasi played in Russia and did not play in the WNBA. And it was never outright stated that she didn't play in the WNBA because Russia basically put that in their contract, that if she went there, she couldn't play. But that was pretty much what everybody thought happened because Russia paid Diana Taurasi at that time $1.5 million salary to play in Russia.
Now, you might think that an MVP would be above small-minded envy, but think again. Wilson's recent outburst of annoyance when she declared, "I don't want to be great for you guys," wasn't a casual remark. Rather, it demonstrated how deeply this rift is running.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I don't want to be great for you guys.
However, this is where things start to get truly intriguing. Wilson is not just upset, she is doubting her entire career. Can you imagine giving your all to a sport and becoming the greatest of the best, just to watch as a newcomer receives all the attention, hoopla, and financial benefits? That would be enough to undermine anyone's self-esteem.
I don't understand this line of thinking. I don't think it, as you said, it doesn't fit the day and age in which we're in. And then the other thing, and I think this is probably the worst thing, it engenders not just a sense of victimhood, but a sense of envy and ingratitude, because you can never be thankful for where you are, because you're always saying, well, if I was only white, I would be even further.
Furthermore, her entire legacy is under review, including all of her endorsement deals, public appearances, and money. Some analysts even speculate that Wilson's marketability has suffered as a result of Clark's growing star power.
There should be a hashtag now, Stop Asia Hate. But it's amazing, but this is the problem that a lot of people have with Caitlin Clark fans and supporters. They don't buy into it. And I'm going to mention this again. One of the more interesting aspects of this fanhood is that some of the biggest supporters of Caitlin Clark are not whites. They're actually black males. So that has become something that for them, that word, problematic.
How is AJ then? Wilson's response to being overshadowed by Clark is undoubtedly shaking up the league, and you won't believe what she's saying. She's pointing out the injustices, challenging the status quo, and making everyone take a close look at how the WNBA values its players.
I don't understand this. Many of these people, like Asia, are so used to being able to dispense and force white guilt upon others that when people don't comply, then it becomes something they can't even handle. Really. And so I just find this whole thing interesting about the television ratings and who's supporting and now people are leaving. This has become, Jason, and tell me if you agree or disagree. This NBA playoff ratings dip post Caitlin Clark is the sports version of white flight and gentrification. You hate it when they're here. You don't like their presence. Oh my God, look at what they're doing. They're so awful. Then when they leave, the Caitlin flight, oh my God, what do we do now?
The questions that are keeping WNBA executives up at night are not just about Wilson versus Clark. They are about the league's entire structure. Can a league survive when its established stars feel underappreciated? What happens when the next big thing takes over and eclipses everyone else? Throughout the season, you let your feelings rule your actions, which prevented what might have been an incredible year that laid the groundwork for the WNBA's future.